Hello and welcome back to the Fruit of Grisaia Makina's route. Last time, Makina and Yuuji was training, or trying to. It turns out that Makina's physical condition is in a very poor physical shape. Sachi's wasn't much better, but at least it was possible for her to do sit-ups. Then Yuuji proceeded to obtain the intel that he requested from JB, his boss at Ichigaya. However, this information was very limited and not giving Yuuji much in terms of knowing more about Makina. As the principal pointed out, however, to know Makina you have to know her family, a wealthy and very important high-class business clan of Japan. Right, let's continue. Hey Makina, just you.
Oh, where you been, Papa?
Had a minor errand to take care of. I went to see Chizuru.
Oh, gotcha. Well, guess that makes sense. Gotta stick some stuff in Chizuru's sewage pipe once in a while, or it'll get all blocked up, right? Appreciate your efforts.
You're as foul-mouthed as a marine, I swear. Amane wouldn't be pleased to hear you talking like that, you know. Where is she anyway?
Amane is over there if you need her.
Makina points behind her, indicating a red tractor that's making its way towards a storage building on the edge of school grounds. A white towel rolled around her neck and a big straw hat on her head. Amane laughs merrily in the driver's seat and smoothly shifts gears from tortoise to hare. That sort of thing really suits her, doesn't it?
Amane loves the heck out of anything with an engine and wheels.
So what happened to the others?
Yumi-chan wrote up our report for today and went to turn it in to the teacher. Qa'Rajh fell into a ditch after the lesson was over, so she's taking a shower.
What's with that girl's pathologically bad luck? Must be a real monster in a past life. Well, whatever. Where's Sachi?
Sachin's over yonder.
Sachi, her back turned to us, seems to be vigorously washing her hands in a nearby water fountain, in maid uniform, as always.
Girl's watching her hand like crazy for some reason. She got the whatchamacallit disorder, or what?
It won't come out. It won't come out. The girl obstinately continues scrubbing away at her hands, quietly mumbling lines that wouldn't be out of place in some low-budget horror movie. Can't deny it's a vaguely blood-curdling little scene. For some reason, just listening to her voice makes it sound weirdly sexual in a way. Maybe I'm just a little too sensitive.
Nah, it ain't just you.
I believe I overheard some rather improper whispers concerning me. Well, we were just wondering why you were washing your hands so frantically, I guess.
My hands rather reeked of wood vinegar after the lesson, and the smell didn't want to come out.
I see. Sachi holds out her hands to demonstrate. There's still a faint scent reminiscent of burnt lumber lingering on her skin.
Sachin's just a slutty maid, she can't even make washing her hands look obscene.
Oh. You don't want Sachi when she has that look there. Sachi, my friend, feel free to flip out.
Kasami-san, if given a choice between a normal maid and a slutty maid, I assume you would prefer the latter, yes?
Indeed. A slutty maid would definitely be nicer to have around the place.
Then it's alright, I accept my slutty maid status.
Seriously?
Okay, then I'm the slutty daughter.
Do you even know what you're saying? Shaking my head as Makina cackles innocently, I happen to glance down and notice she's got a single plant in a plain clay pot sitting at her feet. What's that thing?
Apple! Elephant!
Trumpet! Wait, were we playing the word chain game? I think not.
So guess what? The teacher gave us an apple seedling today. I'm gonna plant it.
An apple seedling, huh? Isn't raising an apple tree actually pretty difficult?
It's certainly not easy, but the ones Maki-chan's going to plant is supposedly a self-fruitful variety that can be fertilized by its own pollen. Comparatively speaking, it shouldn't require too much attention. It might be a teensy ankle biter of a sapling now, but in a few years it'll be overflowing with bright red apples. Eat 'em raw? Sure. Make a jam? You bet. Fill a pie? Hell yeah. I can't stop grinning just from imagining it. Once it bears some fruit, I'll let you have some too, Papa.
I see, that's something to look forward to. Before I know it, I'm reaching out a hand for Makina's head, pushing my finger through her fuzzy mess of hair. I roughly scratch the scalp underneath. The girl half closes her eyes and makes a strange little purring grunt sound. Was the class fun?
You betcha! I love me some mud wrestling.
Mud wrestling?
I believe she's simply referring to playing with dirt. For a city girl, Maki-chan is remarkably comfortable in the field. If you leave her alone, she'll spend hours messing around, shrieking happily. Papa! Mud wrestling feels so good. I don't know why they choose Japanese letters there. Squishy, sticky mud. Churn it up. Make me all soaky, sloppy mess. Mud up me up good, but not that much. I'll break. Ooh.
Okay, I get that you love mud, but that just now was just really cutting it close in a lot of ways. No, maybe they overlapped the line entirely, and cut it out with the ooh. You sound like a constipated yak.
Incidentally, I also enjoy gardening class very much, and had a great deal of fun today.
Yeah, that's good. Something wrong?
Smiling brightly and saying nothing, Sachi thrusts out her cranium in my direction. What's this supposed to be? She's asking me to pet her head, I guess.
I don't entirely understand, but...
Just like I did for Makina, I grab a hold of Sachi's head, stick my fingers between her hair and scratch away vigorously. Apparently this tickles more than the girl expected, as she responds uncharacteristically with a high-pitched little squeal. I had fun too, you know.
Whoa.
All of a sudden, Amane popped out of thin air while doing a decidedly grating imitation of Makina's voice. She pokes her head forward at me just like the others.
What the hell is this?
Don't tell me someone's been spreading rumors about the mystical power of my headpads to improve grades or something. When a woman this massive thrusts her head at me, it almost feels like I'm being charged by a water buffalo. But, judging it's wisest not to express this thought, I simply reach out for Amane's head, pushing my fingers through her mane. I firmly scrape my fingernails against the scalp. No way, this feels crazy good. Might make a habit out of this.
So ridiculous, you're not going to get any smarter from this, you know. And don't say no, damn it.
Yuuji, geez, what are you doing?
Classes are over for the day. I'm going back to the dorm.
Wait up, Papa. Let's go back together.
As if I can walk while dragging this swarm of women behind me. Give me a damn break.
What was that?
Nothing. Talking to myself.
Goodness gracious, what a hopeless tsundere we have here. This coming from the guy who pulls Makina around by the hand but with a simpering grin on his face when they're alone. Seriously. The tsundere is a duality after all. Switching to Dare mode when all alone is most likely standard procedure. Well, good for him. Hey Makina, come here. I'll hold your hand. Yeah, thanks. I like to think I've gotten used to this place by now, but when I'm faced with this strange sort of female solidarity, you know, the whole group bathroom visits kind of thing, I have to admit I still don't entirely fit in. Forming a tight clump, the girls conduct a whispered conversation of some sort. All I make out is some cryptic mutterings along the lines of, I guess Sakagi's the only one left to go. Only a few minutes ago, I boasted that there's nothing I can't do. But there are definitely things I'm never going to be particularly good at. Even so, maybe there will come a day when I look back and be sincerely thankful I had something like this in my life. Maybe. On the way back from my morning run, I hear a cuckoo singing in the courtyard. I've just hit my stopwatch when that simple but magnificent call seizes my attention. Keeping very still, I scan the nearby trees in an attempt to find the bird, but he proves highly elusive. I can hear his voice clearly enough, but I can't even catch a glimpse of the animal itself. Quite an impressive little ambush. This actually isn't the first time something like this has happened to me. I think it was on the way back from a class outing at my previous school. We'd been squeezed tightly onto hard benches in the canopied bed of a truck for hours, barely able to fidget without wedging an elbow in someone's gut. My ass was really starting to scream.
Finally, someone shouted out that we were taking a bathroom break at this big rest stop at the foot of the mountain, and the truck slowed to a halt. Eagerly leaping out to escape the stink and heat, I stretched my legs for the first time in hours, then set out for a water fountain to refill the canteen hanging at my waist. Halfway there, I heard the cuckoo. I carefully looked through the trees above for a nest, but couldn't find anything for the longest damn time. Just when I was about ready to give up, I made an anticlimactic discovery: a small speaker. The thing was fixed with wire onto the branch of a nearby tree. The bird song I had been hearing was nothing but a recording. I remember dropping my shoulders in disappointment and smiling wryly. But just as I'm starting to wonder if something similar might be going on here, I finally pick out a single songbird high up in the branches of a tree on the edge of the courtyard. I actually sigh with relief. The real deal this time, huh? With the authenticity of the song resolved, I just stand there listening for a while. This bird has one hell of a powerful voice. Feels like my soul's been washed clean. The light sense of fatigue I built up on my mini-marathon seems to vanish just like that, chased off by the invigorating little song. But despite this refreshing start to the morning, things quickly take a sour turn. I return to my room only to find Amane holding her sides and guffawing loudly as Mimicky-Makina waves her stumpy little fist indignantly in the air.
This ain't no laughing matter, punk!
What? You're still angry, Makina?
Okay, yeah, sure, I'm the one who asked you to teach me how to ride a bike. I concede the point. But here's the thing. What kind of jerk comes up behind a girl who's on a bike for the first time in their lives and gives her a giant shove out of nowhere?
When you're teaching someone to ride a bike, I think helping out with a shove on the saddle is actually perfectly normal.
Yeah, sure, the method wasn't wrong, but you see, I'm asking whether you might have made a teeny mistake in how hard you pushed me. Okay, why'd you have to shove me so freaking hard?
Well, I figured a decent initial velocity would help prevent a gyroscopic effect and make it easier to keep your balance.
That doesn't mean you gotta launch me into next week!
And then what? She crashed right into a tree, I hear. I told the girl to brake. Not my fault she didn't listen.
I braked like crazy, but I was on gravel, you know. Even when I was braking, I just kept swooshing along and then BAM! Crunch! But that wasn't enough for him. The guy says we're practicing again. Point me to somewhere else and give me another frickin' shove.
Right into that sand pit in the courtyard. Front wheel sinks right in, launching her face first onto the ground.
And that's not all. Guy comes running up to me, say, one more time, forces me kicking, screaming back onto the bike. Before I know, I'm swooshing off yet again.
What was it again? This time she plunges down a flight of stairs, straddling the seat the whole way down.
We're not shooting a damn Hong Kong fiction flick here. Are you trying to kill me or what?
You know, you look just like Amane when you flip out like this.
Oh, you think? Here, I'll get angry. Try comparing.
I mean, look, weren't you a little harsh on her? The girl's a total beginner. Maybe it's all fun and games for you, but what if Makina had gotten hurt? She had protectors on her knees and elbows and a helmet covering her head. No problem. But, come on, you could have, I don't know, let her practice with training wheels or something. What's the point of training if you're going to gift wrap positive results and remove the risk of the equation entirely? Roll through life like that and you'll just freeze up in panic when you're faced with a real crisis. Better to acquire the ability to see danger coming ahead of time through painful experience, don't you think? Ah, well, when you put it that way... I mean, improving through falling off is pretty much the way it goes with two-wheel vehicles. I mean, I don't think you have to go that far just to teach you how to ride normally, but... Amane, you have a second? What's up? Just come with me, alright?
Papa?
You just wait there for a minute, Makina. We'll be back soon.
Okay.
Amane, my friend, there's something I need you to clarify for me.
Jeez, what?
The other day you said you were going to become Makina's mother, right? Were you serious about that?
Huh? Wait, sorry, what do you mean?
I want to ask you to play that role.
Well, I'm okay with that, but...
In that case, when you disagree with me, stick to your opinion. Don't let me talk you out of it.
Sorry, I really don't follow. Can you explain?
I want to make Makina decide which of our opinions are correct for herself.
Ah, so that's what this is about.
When you raise a kid by spoon-feeding them the right answer to every problem, they end up narrow-minded and inflexible. When their parents disagree, children learn to think about who's correct on their own, right?
Now I get it. You really are thinking this over, huh? So then, were you being mean to Makina so you could...
No, not really. It was just gut-bustingly hilarious watching her thrash around like that.
You're awful.
Well, if I'm that terrible a father, you'd better shoot down everything I have to say, got it?
Yeah, I got it.
Sorry, Makina, but I have no intention of changing my instructional methods. Training to deal with all sorts of dangers is valuable experience that'll help you protect yourself going forward.
Don't do it, Makina. What if you end up getting hurt? You're a girl, okay? It's only a bike. You should learn to ride like anyone else.
Makina, don't take riding a bicycle lightly. They are not toys, you know. Even a little bike like that is a light vehicle in the eyes of the law. Falling off and scraping your knees is one thing, but when you're sharing the road with others, your clumsiness might end up getting someone else hurt. Above average skill in controlling a vehicle is never a bad thing to have.
Crap, I actually completely agree with that. But hey, it's not like you really have to force yourself to learn how to ride in the first place. You've gotten by just fine this far without a bicycle, right? It seemed to me that means you'll be okay staying that way. I mean, if you want to go somewhere, I'll drive or bike you over anytime, you know?
Amane, my friend, depriving the girl of the freedom that comes with riding a bicycle is downright tyrannical and short-sighted. Makina's got a long life ahead of her, and nobody can say how it's going to play out. For all we know, the girl might one day encounter a situation where her ability to ride a bicycle proves the difference between life and death.
What kind of situation is that supposed to be? Look, I'm just worried that Makina's going to get injured for no reason, okay?
Sometimes an injury today saves your life 10 years down the line. Tell me, Makina, which opinion sounds correct to you?
I kind of feel like Papa's right about this one, but I'm not so crazy about inflicting more pain on myself. Okay, then want me to teach you instead? I mean, I've got a light motorcycle license. I'm a pretty good teacher, you know? Oh, now that you mention it, that sounds like a pretty good idea.
Not to boast, but I got a license that's valid for anything on two wheels. Naturally, I picked up the MOS as well.
MOS?
It's a qualification you need to use motorbikes at my job. They don't hand it out to just anybody either. The skills standard is a lot higher.
Okay, look, does that really matter for teaching someone to ride a bicycle? Kind of overkill, don't you think?
Didn't I just say not to take riding bicycles lightly? When you're operating a vehicle that poses potential risks, not just to yourself but also to others, you should damn well know what you're doing.
Don't fight, guys.
Okay, Makina, what's it gonna be? You gonna learn from me or from Amane? It's your call.
Can I learn from the both of you? That's a good thought. For starters, I can teach you the basics around the school, and then Yuuji can take you on the road. How does that sound?
True enough. There's no need to restrict the girl to a single instructor. Helps provide a more balanced perspective after all. Sounds good to me, but are you sure about this, Amane?
Fine by me. I mean, summer vacation starts tomorrow, so I'm gonna have much time on my hands anyway.
It's already that time of year, huh?
Might come as a bit of a surprise, but my employer is an absolute stickler on the principle of academic achievement. Practically everyone is looking to move up the ranks, using their off time to cram for exams. And in the case of employees who are assigned to special posts, such as myself, anyone who hopes to get promoted isn't just studying, but also working to gain recognition for their physical prowess. In addition to the daily exercise routine, your days off are typically spent on special training regimens. Every spare minute you have is devoted to forging your body and mind. The rest of your time goes to eating, sleeping, and very little else. To me, summer vacation is nothing more than a long, independent study period. Well then, it's the moment you've all been waiting for. I have your report cards. In a somewhat theatrical gesture, the principal taps a stack of thick, neatly folded paper against the lectern to align their edges. Then surveys the classroom with a big smile plastered on her face. As she calls out our name one by one, everyone comes to the platform in turn and accepts the card respectfully, but there's quite a range of expressions on our faces if we do so.
Sakagi takes her cards indifferently, apparently either unconcerned or just uninterested. Amane receives hers with a vaguely apprehensive expression, her brows slightly furrowed. Michiru, not even attempting to hide her revulsion, grimaces as though she's just had a slimy snake dropped in her hand. Makina grins from ear to ear like an undernourished child taking chocolate from a GI in a jeep. Sachi bows deeply, strongly resembling a white-collar worker accepting a business card from the chief executive of a major client. And finally I take mine with the studied nonchalance of a grunt taking his new posting for the latter half of his term from the division commander. But when you get a report card handed to you, it's only human to be curious about its contents. And as we look over our evaluations, there's another wave of varied reactions around the classroom. Sakagi glances over her report card without so much as twitching an eyebrow. Looks as though the results are exactly what she anticipated. Apparently something in Amane's hit a little too close to home, judging from her wry smile and the way she's playing with her hair. Blah! A hard, indigestible chunk of pitiless reality forced down her throat. Michiru does her best to fight back a rising tide of gastric juices. No way! Her euphoria of only a few minutes ago completely gone. Makina scowls at her card and mumbles, "Seriously, man?" in a deploring tone of voice. Clearly finding the result she wanted inside, Sachi nods deeply in silence and softly claps her hands together in a round of applause for herself. As for my report card, on the 5-letter scale from A to F, I'm almost entirely in the B range. The only exceptions are 2 A's in physical fitness and science, and 2 C's in social etiquette and personal conduct. I'm initially a little nonplussed at that mediocre personal conduct grade, given that I don't smoke, gamble, or drink. But after reading the brief comment scribbled in a red pen, to wit, "The heroic act is nice, but if you're not careful, your treatment of the opposite sex is going to cause you a lot of grief." I have to admit I more or less understand where they're coming from. In fact, this isn't the first time I've been written up for problematic habits regarding women. My employer routinely has superiors put together departmental evaluation, commonly used as references for your next posting or attempts at career advancement. They're pretty thorough documents, running through your academic progress and personal conduct, covering the results of all sorts of inspections and opinions on your overall suitability as an employee. But when the superior writing the report happened to be a female, let alone JB, there will always be at least one angry scribble to the effect of "serious issue with women," invariably punctuated with an exclamation mark. I mean, it's not like I'm a playboy or misogynist. If anything, my co-workers ridicule me as an introvert, and I always endeavor to be considerate toward women. But for some reason my attitude seems to be frequently misinterpreted. Alright, this concludes our lessons for the first semester. I imagine some of you will be returning home over the summer while others will remain. But regardless, I'd like to ask you to set concrete personal objectives and make good use of your time. Class representative, if you would. Stand. At Sachi's ceremonial command, everyone stands up at once. At the bow command, we all lower our heads and shout, "Thank you very much." The principal offers us a nod and a brief, "Yes, I will see you in the next semester," then leaves the classroom. I thought this sort of bowing and scraping was an elementary and middle school thing. I guess our attitude toward learning is a little different here. Or maybe the ceremony itself carried a different nuance at my old school. "Hey Papa, look at my report card." Let's see here. Smiling from ear to ear, Makina thrust her report card in my face as if to smash it against my nose. I pull my head back so I can actually get a look. Makina's cards consist of a large border with a vivid red cherry blossom design framing the words, "Let's try a little harder" in huge, bold letters. Underneath that stamp, there's a brief comment that seems to have been written by the principal herself. "Receptivity to the influence of others is a proof of a curious mind, but please make an effort to acquire a little more common sense. Start by working on your manner of speaking." So I'm not the only one who earned an exclamation mark. Oh, isn't this something? Makina's bizarre mode of speech isn't anything new, but the principal has a point. It's not going to fly if the girl goes out into the world and tries to get a job. And that's not the only problem. Just from my casual observation, her handwriting's sloppy and she's terrible with her chopsticks. In many small but significant ways, she's lagging in skills expected of a normal member of society. But Acquiring common sense is easier said than done when you're spending all your time in an isolated school like this.
Common sense and the lack thereof are concepts that exist only in relation to your environment. What you're supposed to learn from a guy with C in social etiquette?
That said, looking around the room I can't find a single person who doesn't exhibit a severe lack of common sense. I think I'm developing a stomachache.
Excuse me, I can't let you get away with that one. For what it's worth, I'm widely regarded as Mihama Academy's queen of common sense.
Are you sure about that?
You have something to say?
Let me pose you a hypothetical question. If Makina were to go out into the world and conduct herself just as you have, what would people think of her? For example, if they observed Makina declaring her love at first sight for some man she didn't even know, then proceeding to rub her chest against him while snorting roughly through her nose, would they accept it as normal?
Well, I mean,
I'm pretty sure they would pin her as a horny, slightly dim-witted Lolita type. And while this might very well meet with the enthusiast's tearful approval of a certain minority given to a particular tastes, could you really call any society that accepts such a viewpoint as common sense anything but pathologically abnormal?
That's definitely a little, well...
You know, Amane, my friend, it's extremely easy to delude ourselves into believing we possess this common sense and everyone else doesn't. But remember, no one shouts, "I don't get drunk," quite so confoundedly as an alcoholic. For example, while I'm currently talking down to you like my shit doesn't stink, and on objective examination I'm forced to admit that I have no right whatsoever to lecture anyone about common sense.
I don't really get it, but for the moment I'm freaking hungry. Why don't we finish this discussion while we're lunching it up? Okay, putting aside the common sense and all that, I think the first order of business has to be doing something about the way she talks.
I'm with you there.
Japanese is an unusually difficult language, or if you prefer, a tongue uniquely rich in expressive power, and spending a lot of time overseas as a child can leave you thinking in a foreign language. Even when speaking Japanese, you end up translating foreign words in your head on the fly as you talk, a process that supposedly makes it very easy to badly mangle your syntax and grammar, but still. Bad boy vinegar!
When you're this far gone, I sort of feel like the language you're thinking in may not be the fundamental issue.
Okay, yes, I think the vinegar learned his lesson. Now stop dumping all the dressing all over your salad. You're making it into a slushy mess.
From the time immemorial, it's been said that an army marches on its stomach. More to the point, first feed the face, then talk right and wrong. Accordingly, we decide to sate Makina's hunger before attempting to preach about decorum and such, and spread out our lunchboxes on the roof together. Having set the stage, I was just wondering how to broach our subject when Amane's homemade apple vinegar dressing suffered Makina's bad boy vinegar explosion. Knocked off track before we could even begin. Amane and I glanced at each other and heaved a quiet but heartfelt sighs. It should be easy enough to understand the full force of this girl's destructive power from the fact that neither of us can even work up the energy to retort, "Are you the balsamic boogeyman now?" Hey, Amane, maybe we should just forget common sense entirely and focus on teaching the girl proper Japanese.
I mean, it's been bugging me for a long time too, you know. I tried correcting Makina every time she said something weird, but it just didn't seem to help. "You're rude, people. I can totally speak all polite and formal if the mood strikes me, you know."
Oh, first I've heard of it. Alright then, kindly demonstrate your best polite conversation.
I'm very sorry, but your request isn't particularly clear. What exactly would you like me to discuss, sir? Oh, that sounded sort of convincing. I know, right? Talking formal ain't no thing. Just gotta imitate Sachin, am I right?
Sure didn't last long. What happened to the polite language, Makina?
I do apologize. I'd rather embarrass myself. Well then, what should the topic of our discussion be? Well, whatever pops into your head should be fine, I guess. Whatever pops into my head, is it? Well then, let me see. I have a story to share from just last night. I was drifting off to sleep in my bed, but a mosquito bit my arm in this vicinity, and the itchiness quickly grew unbearable. But if I were to scratch away at it, I knew that Amane would scold me and insist I was only making things worse, so instead I pressed down quietly on my thumbnail, with my thumbnail several times forming an X mark over the bite. At this point, I was struck by a flash of insight. Overlaying my initial X with the second, I formed an asterisk. I was so proud of myself I couldn't help but shout. And at that point, Amane-san came over with quite the fierce scowl on her face and then proceeded to beat me about the head. With what an unspeakably savage woman, don't you think? Whatever shall we do with her?
Hey, Amane?
Yes?
I'm starting to think this girl's issues might go deeper than just her language skills.
Goodness, what a coincidence. I was just thinking the exact same thing.
In the first place, is that really supposed to be an imitation of Sachi? Of Sachi, you're completely off base.
Oh? Okay then, I'll try getting it a little closer. Good morning to you both. I am Sachi.
So similar. Wait, what the hell? Is that her?
To be frank, I've grown rather sick of Michiru-sama's nonsense. Every tired day I think to myself, if only that girl would hang herself with an udon noodle and die.
Definitely sounds like her, but that's awful.
By the way, I can imitate Qa'Rajh too, you know.
Okay, let's see it.
Yuuji, help! It's a disaster!
What's wrong, Michiru?
My stomach was hurting this morning, so I went to the bathroom and I was bleeding and it just won't stop. Am I gonna die?
Ah, crap. Not only does she have the voice down cold, that sounds like a line that girl might say.
No, I think you're being a little too harsh on Michiru there. Any way you look at it.
What else have you got?
Why exactly do I have to participate in this nonsense exactly? It's Sakaki. How utterly ridiculous. You really are a worthless human being, aren't you? It's perfectly obvious that your continued existence would only bring further misery to everyone involved. Kindly bite your belly button and die.
What's this? Absurd talent. You're amazing, Makina.
I think this is the kind of first time anybody complimented me about this sort of thing, you know? Well, I mean, yeah, the voices are pretty good and all, but I don't think Sakaki-san's going to tell anyone to bite their belly button and die, you know? Why do they all have to be so nasty?
I wondered about this for a while now, but I think the girl's foul mouth might be coming from you, Amane.
Huh? Me?
Well, think about it. Hanging yourself with an udon noodle, biting your belly button, and that's all pure Kansai.
Huh? Well, now that you mention it, maybe a little Kansai twang does sneak out once in a while when I'm scolding Makina or whatever, but... Huh? Wait, don't tell me. This is all my fault?
I'm not sure where else it would be coming from.
Okay, if that's how you want to play it, then how about all those dirty jokes you've been spitting out left and right lately? Isn't she picking that up from you?
I won't deny it.
I did spend my junior high days in a school that basically scraped together American bad boys and dropouts after all. I'll admit to having some difficulty moderating my language. Hey, Amane, can I get another hunk of bread? Yeah, that's okay, but we're talking about you here, you know. How about you at least pretend to pay attention?
Well, what can you do? Maybe the girl's fine just the way she is.
What?
You've been sucking up various characteristics from the people around her for a long time now. That's how the Makina we know came to be, right? Doesn't seem like such a bad thing when you look at it that way.
Oh, you always into good stuff, Papa. I was totally right to make you my Papa for sure. That's just spoiling her, you know? If you're thinking, I'll just take Makina's side by default, well, that's really not good enough.
I'm not trying to give the girl more approval than she deserves, but I'm just saying, I think she might still be undergoing the process of osmosis.
I'd appreciate it if you could explain this in a way I can understand.
It's not like I'm positive myself, but I have the feeling Makina's still an impressionable chick. In other words, she's absorbing the coping mechanisms and life strategies of those around her, studying the world so she can figure out how to survive in it. That'll little easier to grasp.
Well, I understand what you're saying, but...
I don't know the details, but it seems like the girl was hospitalized for a pretty long time, right?
Yeah, that's right. I was in the hospital for, what, maybe 6 years?
So what I'm thinking is, spending her formative years in that totally isolated little society made her what she is right now. In that case, instead of arguing back and forth how to teach her, wouldn't it be more natural to get her out into the real world? I think the girl needs to be exposed to a wider range of people. What are your thoughts, Amane?
Well, sure, I can understand that. It's probably best in theory, you know. But we're talking about Makina here.
Weren't you just scolding me about being overprotective? If you're thinking, I'll just take care of Makina, that's really not good enough.
Okay, so, that said, what do you specifically want to do?
Well, I think it's my job as Makina's father to come up with the details. At the moment, all I have is a vague plan to start off by, helping her obtain new skills one by one.
Ah, so that's why you suddenly started this whole bicycle thing.
There were some other circumstances involved, but yeah, more or less.
You're kind of taking the papa role pretty seriously, aren't you?
Well, I think the ideal father is a man who views giving his children the knowledge they need to survive as his most important job.
In other words, I want to do for Makina what my master did for me.
I won't deny that I'm a little worried about sending Makina out into the world as she is right now. Even so, I think the girl's come a long way from when she'd run away at the first sight of me. Yes, interacting with society will mean increased risk of encountering danger or malice, but that doesn't mean we can let her stay shut up in this school forever. Therefore, even if it requires somewhat strict methods, I want to strengthen her mind until she can cope with any crisis. Polish her skills until she can deal with anything that comes her way. There are limits to what I can teach her, of course. If the girl decides to become a fighter pilot or submarine captain, I won't be much good. But at the very least, I'm confident I can teach her the skills necessary to survive in the jungle for 2 weeks with the bare minimum of equipment.
Yeah, I guess that sort of knowledge can be pretty important.
That's a surprise. I was expecting you to butt in. What's the point of learning stuff that stuff in modern Japan or something at this point?
Well, guess so, but you know, there are some pretty basic skills that definitely come in handy in the worst case scenario, right? Knowing some of that stuff can't hurt.
Didn't expect you to agree, but alright. For the time being, I'll teach her to ride a bike, increasing her range of mobility and giving her the chance to get out into the world on her own initiative. We'll see where it goes from there.
Huh?
Look,
Ho doesn't cut it. We're discussing your future here, okay? You've just been saying some pretty impressive stuff. You know, were you even listening? Sorry, I got caught up in this fine loaf that I stopped paying attention. What's the deal? Honestly, you really love your bread, don't you? Well, yep, not to brag, but as long as I got this little bread frame for flavoring, I can gobble down 3 bowls of rice.
Amane, my friend, just what are you mixing into this girl's bread?
Nothing, I'm telling you, it's normal. I mean, the stuff I usually get just comes from a bakery in town.
This bread is pretty damn good, though.
I know, right? From what I've heard, the owner's trained in France and Germany, and he gets up there at 3 in the morning every day to start baking. Everything you see on the shelves was baked with love and care in a stone oven that very day. Of course it's gonna be good.
Didn't know there were any bakers that passionate left in this day and age.
A good baker is a jewel in any citizen's crown, you know. Japanese people just don't get what a blessing it is having a store with great bread in the neighborhood.
You're pretty passionate yourself.
Well, it's just a small bakery in front of the station, but I guess the owner is the landlord's second son. Supposedly he started up as a hobby, less to make money and more for the enjoyment of making bread.
I see. If you're prioritizing profit, then mechanizing the process is only logical these days. But if you're in it mainly as a hobby, I guess this quality is understandable.
It's not like I always was a bread freak myself, you know. Heck, every time they served them soggy sandwiches in the hospital, I'd be all, "Yuge." But you know what? When I first tried the bread from this store, it hit me like a freaking thunderbolt. I says to myself, so this bread is what bread really tastes like. Since then, I've been a total baked goods addict. It's like, if this bread suddenly stopped flowing, what would I do with myself? I don't even want to think about a life without it. Even as she's speaking, Makina snaps up a huge bite of a hefty sandwich. Lettuce, tomato, onions, salami, and Swiss cheese packed inside a thick baguette. Honestly, the girl's chomping away so blissfully that it's kind of charming in a way. If she enjoys bread this much, maybe working at a bakery would be a rewarding experience.
In that case, Makina, why not try baking bread yourself?
Where?
You can't live without that bread. In other words, you're completely dependent on a single bakery. In this economically turbulent world of ours, that place might go under just like that. Instead of living your life waiting fearfully for that day, why not acquire the skills to produce bread with your own 2 hands?
Bake bread myself? Well, they do say home bread bakers are getting pretty darn good these days. I'd actually been thinking about getting one myself at some point.
No, that's not what I meant. Why not take things a little further and try for a part-time job at this bakery she loves so much?
A part-time job? Me? At the bakery?
Conventionally enough, we're just starting the summer vacation. Conveniently enough, we're just starting the summer vacation tomorrow. I thought it might be a good experience, and a chance to get your feet wet in the working world.
Huh? But we're talking about Makina here. Working for money isn't a game, you know.
Tell me, Makina, what's your work experience to date?
None.
This is as good time as any to start. How about giving it a try?
Hold on. Aren't you rushing things a little? Shouldn't we, ease her into this? For one thing, I don't know if Makina even knows how to handle money.
Ah, very true. The girl does seem to have a pretty warped perspective when it comes to financial matters, but that's all the more reason. Nothing more teaches you the value of a dollar like earning it through the sweat of your own brow.
Huh? Wait, are you seriously going to do this?
Well, that's up to her to decide. What do you think, Makina? Interested in learning how to make bread yourself?
Yeah! Huh? Hold on, Makina? Did you really think this through? Come on, think about it, Amane. Baking my own bread, it's like a beautiful dream come true. Well, maybe so, but whenever I get a hankering, I can bake myself whatever kind of bread I want, as much as I want. No longer have to slave to the bakery. And what's more, this could present an ideal chance to unleash the double melon bun that torments my dream onto the unsuspecting world, whipping an enormous sensation with my very own hands. Double melon bun?
What was it again? Something about the winds of change blowing through the ossified melon bun world. The birth of a terrible infant?
Infant terribly, if you please.
Right, something like that. So, in conclusion, if you work part-time at the bakery, you can make anything you please a reality. Be it double melon buns or double buns of steel.
Oh, Yuuji, you and your dirty jokes. It's like a dream. Okay, hold on. I understand the melon bun thing, but I think buns of steel are something else entirely. Yeah, my point exactly, Amane. And not to rain on the parade, but what makes you think they're going to be conveniently looking to hire someone right now?
In regards to that little detail, Amane, how about you pay them a visit? I'm sure even a hard-ass bread artisan will yield before a jiggling tit or two.
Excuse me? Are you under the impression I jiggle my tits on command? Got another thing coming, you bum. Well, whatever. I guess I'm on board. I'll stop by this evening on my shopping trip or whatever and see if I can convince them for you. Nice! I'm gonna do this thing! I'll be dominating the world from the shadows through the power of double melon buns in no time!
I don't entirely follow, but this double melon bun sounds like it has some impressive potential.
That same evening, despite her protestations, Amane sauntered into the bakery in ridiculous revealing casual clothes, excessive chest flaps swinging penduliously from side to side with every step. And in her best sugary sweet tone asked, "Hey, are you hiring part-timers or anything?" In no time at all, she proceeded to smoothly convince the owner, and Makina attained her first job without so much as an interview. The only remaining difficulty is whether the school administration will provide its approval. Makina has taken this task into her own hands, putting her case to our highest authority. I'm sitting mainly as a spectator. Understandably a little anxious about the prospect of letting this particular animal go free range, the principal responds with guarded rejection. I do understand your desire to gain experience in the real world, Irisu-san, but right now, well, perhaps it's more important to focus on gradually, steadily learning what you'll need out there.
Although she's choosing her words carefully, it's pretty clear that Chizuru has some serious reservations about letting a potential embarrassment like Makina wander out into the world. Her mild disapproval holds steady. However, once lit, the flames of ambition, the double melon bun world conquest, will prove difficult to extinguish. Her face twitching with rage, Makina bellows, "Damn the torpedoes, Principal Tachibana!" and slams her stubby little hands onto the desk with a vigorous thwack. The kid does a pretty decent Marine Admiral. But it's the next line out of her mouth that really makes me go pale.
We're never gonna get anywhere with that cowardly attitude. This is exactly why you're still a freaking virgin.
The principal doesn't elaborate on this snappy retort. Not only has she been struck speechless, she seems to have forgotten how to breathe. I quickly ride into the rescue. Don't be ridiculous, Makina. Principal Tachibana is not a kid, you know. She obviously threw away her virginity ages ago. The instant I speak, Chihiro swings her head to face me so vigorously I can hear the sound of her hair cutting through the air. After flapping her mouth like a goldfish for a while, she draws a deep breath and unleashes a truly massive sigh. I understand. I'll give you my permission. Quite the sudden change of heart. Shoulders drooping like a high school baseball player who's just lost their final shot at cushion. The principal retrieves a sheet of paper from her desk. Write your name on this document and have your guardian stamp it here. The gist of it seems to be that the Academy assumes absolutely no responsibility whatsoever and so on and so forth. Ignoring the legalistic obfuscations, the real message is, if you have to work part-time, don't cause us any trouble. As for the matter of guardian who is supposed to give their approval, that would of course be Makina's parents, but her father's gone and her mother apparently overseas, so that's hardly a realistic option either. In that case, as her father, however provisionary, I'm probably most qualified to affix my mark in their place. I stamp a thumbprint next to the name Irisu Makina and proceed to submit the document. And that's where we'll end for today. So we shall see how Makina in a bakery fares next time. So, but until then, take care.